Party XP. I'm Jeff, joined, of course, by Lakan, and you're hearing my voice first, so you know what that means.
That means Jeff's in charge, baby.
You know it. Hop on the bus. So, first things first, how's it going?
I'm doing pretty good. A little bit tired, but I finally slept good for the first time in a while. Usually when things are going, I don't sleep very well when things are busy, and I wake up I wake up every couple hours, and then it's an hour before the thing. Okay, I'll try to squeeze in the last hour and then go for it. No, today I slept straight for 8 hours for once in a long time.
Yeah, at least you got to sleep in. I wasn't so lucky, but nothing a nap can't fix. So we are good here.
Yeah, it's good.
So, do I have a game for you this week? So, we talked quite a bit about these indie games and sort of my probably controversial opinions on them. And it all stems from one game that I played a few years back that I'm shocked, number one, that you haven't played, but I guess it makes sense because it's like this game was designed for me. And I have totally taken to it, and it has more than I would say a lot of other games impacted the way that I feel about video games moving forward since I've played it. And it's really changed my perspective on what's fun to me and what I'm looking for in games. So without further ado, I'm going to introduce to you the 2016 remake of Doom. And this is the game that I'm going to recommend. And I love this game so much. So please allow me to gush about this game for a little while here. Everything about this game feels so much fun to me. And the craziest thing about it is that the sequel's even better, but we'll save that for another day because you need to play this game first. It is, to me, it's the complete package from a gameplay perspective, from a story perspective, in that it's probably the most bare bones story, but you don't really want a great in-depth story with lots of exposition in an action movie, let alone an action game, right? So I feel like the story does what it needs to do. It provides a little context of what you're doing, but do you need a lot of context for lots and lots of killing and maiming and destruction? I don't really think so. The weapons are all great. Everything serves a purpose. Every action you perform is done with a purpose. And for me, I just think that all the mechanics, the gameplay, the boss battles, the regular enemy fights, the difficulty settings, everything kind of just comes together. And then the music is sort of like, it's not just the cherry, it's like the cherry, the whipped cream, and the hot fudge on top, right?
Yeah.
Like the music, obviously the music from this game is legendary.
Oh, it rules. Yeah.
And now Mick Gordon, who is the composer of Doom and Doom Eternal soundtracks, has ratcheted it up from 11 to 46. I mean, this music kicks ass. Everything about this game is incredible, and I cannot wait for you to experience this game.
It's funny, right? Because Doom is a big franchise. I've played the original Dooms. For some reason, is it a reboot or the next game in the series? I guess.
I would call it a remake or a reboot. Yeah.
Yeah. For some reason, they just completely. I obviously know they came out because the hype around them was insane when they came out. 2016 specifically when that came out, and then Eternal, of course, the last couple years as well, because that came out the same day as Animal Crossing, and there were all the memes about that one. But yeah, for some reason, just the newer Dooms, I just never got around to. I know that might be strange to hear coming out of my mouth, especially because I play so many games, and I like shooters that feel like this. But for some reason, I just never got around to it. And I've heard the music, I've seen the gameplay, and yeah, it looks like when I watch people play it. I haven't really watched a lot of playthroughs of this game either, but from small snippets that I see, Linus Tech Tips.
I do not.
Okay, so Linus Tech Tips is one of the biggest tech channels out there, right? And he uses Doom and Tomb Raider as benchmarking for the systems he builds or when he's trying out hardware, he always like tests to see like if something can run Doom really, really well. Because a game like that where the action's pretty fast and heavy, you want it to run at a pretty, steady frame rate. And even like watching him play as he's like talking over like a tech demo, you see the game like plays very, very tight. And I just, for some reason, even though this game has all the things that appeals to me in terms of like shooting games as well, I just never got around to it. It's like it's a weird, it's an anomaly for me.
Well, it happens, it came out in our mid-20s, right? So we're not really playing too much, and the things that we are playing, we're playing multiplayer games, right? Or we're out drinking together. We're doing different things that aren't video game related. And so, it makes sense that you missed a game that maybe you're not like completely enamored with. But for me, I mean, and to be honest with you, I don't know if I played this the day it came out. I played it a little later, and then but I just fell in love with it. You know what I mean? And this has completely shifted the way that I see video games. It might be one of the most, it sounds crazy to say, but it's the truth. It might be one of the most influential games that I've played because it just changed everything about the way that I see games, that I play games. I play everything like Doom now. I play everything fast, hyper aggressive in shooting games, lots of shotguns, lots of big damage weapons. But at the same time, it also made me appreciate difficulty in games as a concept. And it's something that you brought up the other day. I believe it was when we were talking about Katana Zero, where when you screw up and you die, it's your fault. It's not the game being busted. It's not the game being stupid. It's not some cheap death mechanic, right? You screwed up. It's your fault. Go back and do it again, right?
Hmm.
That's what this game does really well, and I think it's also what Doom Eternal does even better. Is you are given all of the tools. You are an unstoppable, godly killing machine, right? You are this faceless, voiceless hero that transcends into hell and is a one man army against an entire slew of demons. You are given all of the tools to succeed. So if you screw up, it's your fault. And to me, that's what really makes this game great. And it's also what has stuck with me as far as games are concerned, right? Is that there's a way to do difficult without doing bullshit, and Doom Eternal walk that fine line better than most games. If not, I couldn't tell you a game that walks the fine line between oh that's bullshit and oh I screwed up like Doom, because it answers for all of the common things that you might complain about with a game. Oh, I was out of ammo. Well, you have a chainsaw, right? So the chainsaw exists as a way to always get your ammo back. So anytime you kill an enemy with a chainsaw, it's a one-hit kill. The animation plays, and the enemy that you kill drops ammo for all of your guns. So if you're not correctly using your chainsaw, well, that's your fault, right?
Hmm.
If you're not properly using your finisher on enemies that are glowing to get health back, well, that's your fault. If you're not, using if you know that enemies with plasma shields, right? So just like in Halo, if you're fighting the elites and the Covenant that have the plasma shields, and you don't have a plasma weapon and you can't penetrate the shields, well, that's kind of your fault, right? All of those things sort of come together with the 2016 Doom and then Doom Eternal. And I think, I really think that this, I don't want to say it ruined me as far as, my opinions on games are concerned, but it really enlightened me as to what developers can do with difficulty and with game mechanics versus what they actually do. And you're seeing that a lot with games like Elden Ring. You're seeing that with games like Dark Souls. These hyper difficult games, and even like we've talked about with some of the roguelikes, difficulty for the sake of difficulties. Doom doesn't do that as much, but it is very unforgiving. But you'll always feel like I could have done that differently.
Yeah, so I guess in terms of like difficulty in within video games and the balance, like the tightrope walk that games have to do in terms of difficulty versus or like difficulty interspersed within their gameplay, I think my argument usually is especially in games that have like I'm just gonna refer to roguelikes because again that's like one that's kind of like my bread and butter in terms of games that I play right for the last couple of years. It's usually defaulted to it's your fault if you get hit. And so you get punished
Mm.
because obviously roguelikes you don't heal very often. That's the way I see it. So in this game, it sounds like because I know a little bit about the finisher system and the chainsaw. Like you have to use everything at your disposal to kind of top yourself off.
Right.
And so I think it's one of those things where because roguelikes are very brutal and the fact that health is usually very limited, there's healing is very limited, it can feel a little bit stifling. I think something like this, which kind of has that same kind of idea in terms of like or same kind of gameplay loop almost to some extent, but the option to give you health, but you have to specifically work for it or you have to do something specific for it. I think balances that out for a lot of people. It expands games for like a wider player base. I think that's the way I see it in terms of like stuff like this. In terms of how can balance difficulty and use health as a lever to toggle up or toggle down their difficulty in the games.
Oh yeah. You get a lot of health in this game. Trust me. There are health packs. They're perfectly placed health packs and armor packs. There's also an upgrade system, so you sort of have this little RPG element to the game where you can upgrade your health pool, your armor pool, your how much ammo you can carry. Your Slayer can do different things. You have different abilities and different different skills you can awaken by doing some of the more hidden uh, content. There are a ton of secrets in both games that you can find, and I urge you to explore quite a bit because you're going to want to find the secrets because they're only going to help you. If not, it's just like a little tchotchke. They have like Funko Pops of like the Doom characters that are hidden around, which are fun. But you can also find power ups and like I said, these things that'll awaken different skills for your character. So it's worth exploring. Doom, like I said, Doom gives you everything that you could ask for. It's up to you to make it happen. And for me, putting the onus on the player versus putting the onus on RNG or on some BS mechanic, um, I think that's the right way to do it. Look, things will if you get hit by some of the bigger bad guys, like it's gonna hurt a lot, but you know how to fix that, right? You just don't get hit.
From my understanding of this game, again, like surprisingly, this is one of the games that kind of fell under my radar. It has a very focused, very tight gameplay cycle, from my understanding, right?
Correct. Oh yeah.
Okay.
So you'll kind of know when you're ready to fight because you'll walk through a door and you'll have a big room and the music kicks up, you hear the riffs and you start seeing the little guys come out, right? So you start to kill the little guys and then you'll get one of the big guys that'll come out and they all have their own mechanic, they all have their own tells, they all have their own ways. So like you have the Caco demons, right? The iconic floating one-eyed big teeth guys, right?
Yeah.
So you can sit there and you can shoot them and you can, do your thing. Or you can shoot a grenade in their mouth and you blow them up, right? And they're instantly finishable and you can kill them and dispatch of them very easily like that, right? But if you don't have your grenade or if you're out of like if you use your grenade for something else, then you're in a tight spot. There are enemies called pinkies. They're like the little bipedal charging monsters, right? So what you'll have to do is one of two things. You either have to shotgun them in the face, basically, or you have to wait for them to run into the wall and then you fill them with bullets afterwards. Then there's the bigger guys that start off as a boss and then they become regular enemies, right? Which is always fun to do in games. But they also have tells. So you'll always kind of know the situation that you're in, and you'll kind of know what to do. The game, like you said, it is very tight. You'll know kind of you'll kind of be able to pick up, especially after you run into a few of the new enemies a few times. You'll know kind of what to do in those situations, which I think also keeps the gameplay tight because it's like, okay, well, I know now that I have two Kako demons that spawn here. I have two of the jetpack guys that I can't remember their names. I have, a few of like the flying enemies. You'll kind of be able to craft a strategy based on the information in front of you. And then let's say the game does introduce a new demon during the fight, it'll tell you exactly how to take care of it. It's just on you to execute, right?
Hmm.
So, in more ways than one, hard, hard, hard.
I've been meaning to get around to this game, and I guess this is the perfect time for me to kind of force me to actually sit down and actually play this game.
Oh yeah.
Was able to pick this up recently for the PS4. Where did you play this game on? Do you play it on console? Do
So
you play it on a PC?
no, so this was before we pimped out the PC that I have. So I play this on Xbox.
Okay, gotcha.
I
So
can I can definitely imagine that this game is incredible on PC, and I would love to play it again on PC because I want to see how beautiful this game gets. I mean, it already looks great, and it already does a really nice job of immersing you into hell. For the lack of a better phrase, like it immerses you pretty well into hell here. But I can only imagine how good this game looks on like next gen hardware and on a PC that can hum and run this game.
yeah,
But I think it'll look just fine on your regular old PS4.
it's just funny because I am such a I'm such a PC boy. Just for like I play almost all my shooters on PC as well nowadays.
Well, of
It's
course.
it's funny because like when I go back to console and I play with a controller, there's like this like quick moment of like, do I know how to do this? um,
Do I still remember how to use two control sticks at the
yeah,
same time?
and then it happened with me with Uncharted 4 recently, and I was like, oh, I should probably finish this game up. It's been I've been sitting with like 70% done and just never got around to finishing it. I finally finished it. I was like, okay, yeah, I remember how to do this now. It's kind of like riding a bike. I'll like give me like 5 minutes and I'll be back in kind of deal.
Right.
And I'm assuming that's kind of how I feel about this game. Even though like the last Doom I played was literally like the sprite Dooms
Hmm.
that I've actually played forever ago.
Oh yeah. You'll be in. I think if I remember correctly, the first one eases you in pretty well, and I played this on sort of the third of the four difficulties. You can't actually even play on Ultra Nightmare, which is like the fifth hard, like the super duper hardest difficulty, until you beat the game. So like you can
Is it like crushing, like for like Uncharted 4, like you can't get it until you play it on hard first kind of deal.
correct,
Okay.
and that's like a permadeath mode too. So if you die once in that mode, your save file is deleted.
Oh, that's brutal.
That
What
is.
the hell?
But luckily enough, the other game difficulties don't do that, and checkpoints are forgiving, at least as far as I remember. They did a good job not putting you in that position where you have to traverse. Like they're not going to put it in the jumping puzzle, right? They'll
Yeah,
put it
or not
right
in the middle
before
of a
the
fight
the
kind of
room.
deal.
So if you die in the midst of a fight, basically all you have to do is walk through the door again, and you'll be ready to fight.
Okay, cool. So it's like this. It's a contained kind of thing. It's like we know this is going to be an instance where you're going to fight. We're just going to push you right there again. Okay, cool.
Right. Because they're going to know, oh, all right, well, now I know that this is going to happen. So now you can strategize for the next fight, and you'll kind of know what to do here. And that's one of the fun things. Being, like we talked about when it clicks, right? When we talk about when you're playing a game and you finally get it and it clicks and you know how to ascend to that next level. And that's another thing that this game does really well. When it clicks and and you're in the groove and you're jumping around. Uh, by the way, don't ever stand still. This game is designed to you have to just keep moving. Kind of like, I guess, like the first one. You don't stand still, you just keep moving. You, you use all of the structure and architecture to your advantage. Don't be afraid to, run to the other side of a room to get the enemies to chase you and kind of funnel down a hallway. Um, don't be afraid to don't be afraid. It's kind of funny coming from this big giant space marine death machine guy, but don't be afraid to like go into like another room and just like sit there for a minute and let stuff come to you either. Like,
Okay. So I don't
it,
have to unga bunga for hold forward and sprint the whole time if I want to figure something out. Then
yeah, no, yeah, you don't have to, but it's a lot of fun when you can
and
do that.
it's lightly encouraged, basically. Okay.
Especially when you're in rooms where there aren't the big guys and it's just the little fodder demons, right? Like you're kind of encouraged to beat the shit out of them and farm them for resources before you get to the Mancubus and Manticore and all of these other bad guys, like the big ones. You're kind of encouraged to just go in there, punch things in the face, collect your health pickups, chainsaw them, get your ammo back, and all that. But no, yeah, like I think if you really want to unga bunga, you could play this on like the easier difficulties and just have fun. But
Oh
if you're
no,
looking
I
for
put
a
this on. I put
challenge,
this on hard, and I still put this on hard and go unga bunga. That's how I see I'm going to play this game.
you can.
Yeah,
You certainly
that's
can.
how I.
You're
That's how I
just
like
you're
games
gonna
like
have
this.
to tailor what's that?
That's how I like playing games like this, where it's like kind of like with Katana Zero, where it's like no, I want it to be difficult, and then I will just have to keep throwing myself at it until I figure it out. That's how I like to play
Right.
stuff like this.
You can definitely play this Unga Bunga, and honestly, I probably did too. You'll just have to tailor your Unga Bunga to the situation.
Yeah, that's exactly how I want it to be, kind of. So yeah, looking forward to this one. Definitely, I definitely should have played this years ago when it came out, along with Eternal. That's on me, but
Hey,
there's a perfect reason for me to get into it.
yeah, there's games don't have expiration dates for a reason. So, yeah, and I definitely think it holds up, even though it's only been what 6 years, which isn't really that long, but I think other games have come out, including its sequel, have come out, and I still think it'll hold up. It's been something that I've been meaning to play over again, this and the second one, plus the DLC. So maybe I'll fire it up a little bit and see what I can come up with here too.
Word. I'm ready to get my hands in this game and really, go around and just murder and just enjoy this maybe this flow state of murder. Basically, I'm gonna get into.
Oh yeah.
Cool. So, listeners, there's going to be a short break here, and by the time we are back with the second half of this episode, it'll be 2 weeks for us, and you will hear our thoughts on Doom 2016.
Later, Gators. All right, Lakan, it's been 2 weeks. Dear listener, welcome back to Party XP. Much like the game we're discussing this evening, we don't have time for fluff. We don't have time for preamble. We got to hit this action hard, Lakan. How did you feel about Doom?
Yo, I'm so mad at myself for not playing this game when it came out. Holy shit, this game rules. Oh my god. Yo, Doom 2016 is such a good game. Like the soundtrack, the gunplay, there's issues with the game, but like overall, this game slaps dick so hard. Yo, oh my god. Let's see. Started off the game. I played on console, right? I'm a PC boy. Gonna be a little bit of me getting the game back under my fingers on a controller. Took me a minute. Once I got in, the game does a really good job of really kind of setting you in and like teaching you how to play the game like as you go. It kind of like does like little baby levels essentially, leading into like your first arena fight. And I really appreciate that the arenas are pretty well defined, kind of deal.
Oh yeah.
Like, oh, here's a wall, here's a platform you can jump onto, here's a platform you might be able to jump up to if you want to try it. It does a lot of stuff that like the level design in this game's really good, the music's really good, the weapons sound meaty as all hell.
Oh
Do
yeah.
you know what I mean? Like the shotgun, like the cocking sound of the shotgun, the rifles are like it's a heavy assault rifle. The plasma rifle is like the daintiest thing you could. I think that it sounds like with a pistol maybe, and even then it knocks things heads off. Everything in this game feels meaty and heavy, much like your character basically.
Oh yeah.
Everything feels so full of intent when you do anything in this game, and it plays really well. And again, like it took me a minute to get the game under my fingers again, but once you kind of get rolling and you kind of just get the game, once you get comfortable, it kind of just tells you have fun, and we're gonna toss a couple surprises your way.
Oh yeah.
Just start some chaos. Have fun. Go.
Oh yeah. So we talked about this. I did some foreshadowing in the Katana Zero episode to this game because obviously we're going to talk about it. You are the traumatic event, you know,
Yeah.
Based on that little 4chan meme where it's like, does the Doom guy get PTSD? No, he is
Yeah,
PTSD.
exactly.
You are the traumatic event. You are the thing that is causing mass destruction and chaos. And the other thing that I think this game does well is that it made me feel like I did at the end of Bioshock 2, where I was this omnipotent being. I had all the tools. We just talked about this with Katana Zero. I have all the tools. You get more, but really all you need is the shotgun and like the grenade, right?
Yeah,
And the
basically.
chainsaw. And you have these tools. It's on you to figure out how to use them correctly and complete the tasks in front of you. And it does a really great job of delivering that, I think, delivering that experience to you. And the other thing that I really appreciated was, like I said in the beginning of the episode here, or, in the second part of this preamble, no fluff, no nonsense. The breaks are well timed. When Samuel is talking to you through whatever sort of device he's
Computer
speaking to you.
communications system, whatever you're using.
Correct.
Yeah.
Very rarely does the action stop, and when it does, it's for pretty important stuff right within the plot. But for the most part, you're able to just keep moving. You're able to just keep walking through hallways. You're able to open doors. You're able to gather supplies while you're getting the plot of the story. And basically, the second that Sam stops talking, you're shooting demons, right? You're right back to shooting demons again, and the whole cycle starts over again. And I had been looking for a game like this, and then I played this and I found it, and now every single game is ruined for me because I just love this feeling. And if you think Doom 2016 does a good job of making you feel like a superpowered god, omnipotent being, I cannot wait for you to play Doom Eternal because you feel even more powerful playing that game. But so you mentioned that there were some issues. Talk to me. Tell me sort of what you thought could have been done maybe better. What did you not really enjoy about it? I'm interested to hear what you have to say.
Yeah, let's get my nitpicks out of the way, I guess, first, and then we can talk about just how amazing the rest of this game is. So I had a couple issues. Again, I'm playing on console, which surprised me that I had this issue where I phased through the map
Oh,
a couple
okay.
times. And usually, and I kind of figured out why it happened. It's when an enemy is backed you against a wall, or like you happen to be like standing next to a wall or a ledge, and you do a glory kill. And for
Huh.
some reason, after the glory kill, if you're sitting on, if your character's like basically hovering on the like, if you look at it from like a third person perspective, your character's basically floating in midair while you're punching and snapping a demon's leg and ripping their jaw off their face. And then I think when your character gets out of that locked animation, it I think the game doesn't know where to put you.
Right.
I
Okay.
think
That makes sense.
that happened to me like I want to not early either. It happened later in the game, so maybe that I don't know if that's a QA issue. Like maybe like when they QA'd it in the beginning, they didn't have any issues. They didn't realize it was a thing that happens later on. Maybe
Might be.
the geometry also gets a little bit weird later on in the game because there's more textures. You're in hell. There's more broken ledges. Maybe it might be something along those lines. And then the other issue I had with the game was the ending kind of fizzled out for me. I don't know if it did for you, but the last boss encounter super weak. It
Could you
was
remind me what? Oh, was it the
the
it's the
lady.
woman,
It was
right?
the lady who basically opened up hell.
Right, and she turns into like the
Giant spider demon thing,
yeah,
basically.
is that the does she fly in this? Is it, or am I getting my games
You're
mixed up?
getting your games mixed up. She's mostly on the ground.
Okay.
She fires lasers out of her face or
Okay.
spider butt. I don't know what
Spoilers
it
for
is.
Doom Eternal.
Well, yeah, we're talking about a video game. Come on, we're gonna do spoilers at this point. We should
No.
probably remember next time we talk. Oh, for the night for Eternal. Oh, sorry. Yeah. Okay. Well, there we
No,
go.
yeah. Sorry. I just
Um.
revealed one of the final bosses in
Well,
Eternal.
yeah, it's fine.
Sorry.
I'm not gonna remember by the time I get there anyway. And then even the boss before that, and the boss before that, like I don't know what they call. I forgot what they called him, like the Hellraiser, the something, the
The
demon.
Hellraiser, the guy with the sword, right? And you
Yeah.
have to sort of like time your shots perfectly so that you can knock him out of his animation, or else he'll dodge you, right? Is
Yeah, and
that the guy?
you have to dodge the waves he fires at you when he brings up those two
Yes.
walls on your side. Which is like,
Yeah.
it's cool that they have these kind of like mechanics and like telegraphed fighting stuff, you know what I mean? So it's like, again, everything in this game, there are things in this game which do a very, very good job to clarify what you need to do, right? Again, you said all the tools are there for you. You said in the first half of this episode where enemies will glow when it is ready to glory kill them, and that gives you back your health, you know? And so the fact that there are telegraph moves, I have like a love-hate relationship with this. Because it felt like a Mario fight. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
Like, oh, what's his name? Boom Boom? Or the angry turtle guy? Like, you know,
Yeah. The boom boom.
yeah,
So
so it
okay,
feels
he's
like,
getting
okay,
ready to spin.
yeah, jump over him for a little bit. Oh, he comes out of his shell. Jump on him now. Okay, do it again. You know, it's like rinse, repeat. It felt a little bit like that, and like, and that's just any fight that has like repeating mechanics, basically. So this might be a me issue. I'm not gonna, I'm gonna be a little bit annoyed by it. It might be a me thing. Might be the game thing. I honestly haven't figured that out myself yet. Like patterns are good. I like the fact that you can learn patterns and work around them, right? That in my opinion, that's a good thing. But just the fights themselves didn't have that, like, everything in this game is so deliberate and meaty and heavy feeling, right? Unfortunately, the boss fights fell really flat for me. And like the end boss fight, they're like the end boss fights, right? These are
Right.
towards the end of the game, and you would think that like everything before that point felt like it was climbing towards like the climax of this heavy, like, okay, like, I'm gonna just destroy hell myself, and it just did not feel good in my opinion. You know what I mean? It just wasn't big. Like it was everything before that moment where you run, you get all these weapons, you get all these upgrades, you make your weapons more powerful. I had more stress fighting hordes and hordes of demons than fighting a boss.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like that, and like to me, it's like the boss should feel difficult because it should be incorporating all the mechanics you've learned to that point and kind of forcing you to play using some of those mechanics. But it felt very much kind of like a jungle gym. You know what I mean? I'm kind of like, okay, I play around this, I play around this, I play around this, basically, and it felt weird. Or an obstacle course. That's the term I was looking for. Where it's like, okay, like I'm gonna use a really random reference here, or not random, but I guess might not seem like there's a connection here. You play Street Fighter, obviously, right?
Mhm. Correct.
You ever play against a bad Sagat who just spams what's this fireball move?
What, Tiger Shot?
Yeah. So the bad ones who just spam standing one, then crouching one, then standing one, then crouching one.
Right.
It felt like that.
Right.
Like all
Okay.
the
I can see
boss
that.
fights. It felt lame, basically.
I got you. Yeah.
But like and basically that's really my only real issues with this game. Like the bosses fell flat, and I had a couple issues with phasing through the map.
Right.
And the reason why I said mentioned specifically I played this on console. Consoles are usually locked to 60 FPS, usually, right?
Right.
Or at least last gen consoles anyway. And usually because the games are locked like that, you don't have these weird desync issues. You see this more when you're on a PC and the game is meant to run at 60, but you're running the game at like 144. And then it'll happen more often than not that the game will desync and then won't progress, or you'll face through the map that way. I was surprised to see it in a console.
It happens.
Yeah, it happens. It happens. But that's aside from that, that's basically my only two real nitpicks. Everything else in this game, I really, really enjoyed.
Yeah, I think I get it because I did find the boss fights to be a little. They seemed a little out of place, right? Because you're so used to this fast-paced, constantly moving, deliberate action when you're fighting the demon hordes, and even the powerful normal enemies still presented unique challenges when combined with the other regular enemies, right? So
Yeah,
like
you're kind of
the Kako demons, the Pinkies, these more complex enemies combined with the less complex enemies gave you a real challenge. The bosses kind of act as almost like a wall kind of where you don't have that deliberate movement as much because you're fighting the same enemy constantly for multiple minutes versus fighting a seemingly never-ending horde of multiple enemies, whether or not they're the same type of enemy or not. You're not killing the same Kako demon, right? You're not killing the same Pinky. You're killing different ones, but you're getting more thrown at you. And so when you have the boss fights kind of there, I will push back a tiny bit on the Hellraiser. I thought that Hellraiser fight was awesome. And we again talked about sort of that carrot on the stick mentality with Katana Zero. When you finish a complete run, it feels great and you feel proud of yourself. So for me, when you kill Hellraiser for the first time, you feel great because you finally mastered the perfect run. And then he shows up as a regular enemy, and,
that is a cool bit. No, you're right.
and then
You're
you're
right
like,
about that
oh
bit.
crap, what the hell? Do you ever fight two in Doom One? I don't remember. You might not fight two in Doom Eternal, but I didn't know if you fought two in
I
the first game.
think you do in
You
certain.
probably do.
I think there's like I remember specifically there was like two rooms in like one of the factories. I think it was when you were essentially you were shutting down the portal. I think it was,
Right.
and I think you fought two of them.
Yes.
I'm pretty
Yes.
sure that was one of the rooms that you
You
did
are
have to deal
correct.
with them.
Yeah.
Um,
So I like that concept. But you're right. The other bosses that didn't really fit the motif of being a normal enemy could act like sort of impediments to the speed of the game. So I do get it. And again, this was the first game. I think a lot of the questions that you'll have and a lot of the nitpicks definitely get answered in Doom Eternal. I think this game was a great start, but you ain't seen nothing yet.
yeah, because again, from my understanding, this was kind of like a soft reboot of the property, right?
Correct.
So,
Correct.
like again, I've played the older Dooms, and I've played a little bit of like Doom 64, and I think there was one on the
I'm sorry.
PS1. Yeah, yeah, I know, right? And I think there was one on the PS1. I think I don't know if that was exactly. I don't know if that was basically just Doom 64 just ported over. I'm not exactly sure of that case. But yeah, even in like those games, like yeah, the game does kind of want this not frenetic but this kinetic kind of gameplay, right? You're always moving, you kind of wiggle at people and kind of turn your corner, swing your camera around, a reticle onto an enemy, blast their head off and keep moving, right? And it feels like a wall that it tells me to intentionally slow down. That being said, no, I think you are right about the fact that it did feel cool that like it almost feels like your character is so powerful that this supposedly threatening like keeper of hell, basically. You know what I mean? They're kind of like their high guard like becomes just a regular mob for you, which is kind of
Right.
a cool aspect.
And
Uh,
then you rip its head off,
yeah, and then you just murder it. Just exactly.
just like all the
Yeah.
rest.
Um. So let me reel back a little bit. I guess again, those are kind of my main nitpicks. Aside from that, everything else I really enjoyed. The animations are sick. The game
Oh
looks
yeah.
great even on a console like that. Like these are just I'm just reading off some of my notes here. The glows for indicators for when enemies are weak and stuff like that. I had to just learn how long they're like sensitive or stunned for. So that I knew like, oh shoot, like I'm low on health, but like I see a glowing guy in the background. How long will he stay stunned for so I can, get like a cheesy glory kill off, get my health back, and then continue fighting. You know what I mean?
Right.
Yeah, like again, like the game feels very fluid. Like especially once you're in these, like again, like I kind of consider them like little arenas. You know what I mean? Like every fight section, I love that the music kicks up. You know what I mean? Like you hear that and just the chugging guitar with the techno drums or the traditional metal drums going in there, and okay, fight now. This is it. We're starting it up now. And you look around, it's an arena, especially after you finish the fight. You're like, you look around like, oh yeah, this is design. This could be like a multiplayer map. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Which I'm assuming in the multiplayer, that's basically what it is. I'm assuming that's the case.
I think so. I haven't actually played the multiplayer.
Yeah, neither have I. Maybe we'll get it to it. After recording, we'll just try it ourselves and experience it. I realize that momentum kind of carries. That you can like kind of like slide jump a little bit to gain a little bit of extra distance. You know what I mean? It doesn't
Right.
really do a whole lot for you. It's just there. I play Apex. I like trying to abuse movement. Sorry, like no fall damage. I always appreciate. Yeah, especially in a game like this where you're supposed to be this like again this just death dealing monster amongst death dealing monsters that you can just drop, well, yeah, obviously within bounds of that level, like from a like 3 stories up essentially, and all you see is like landing mitigation or something like that on show up on your screen.
Yep.
Which is kind of like
Yep.
a funny thing. And and what's cool too is like if you injure something below you, you can just jump on them from 3 stories up, and as long as you hit your finisher while they're stunned, you'll just go straight into the finisher, which is always kind of cool. There's a couple small other, much smaller nitpicks that I have here, but they're not as big as the other ones. The menu was so busy. There's a lot going on in the menu.
Yeah. Yeah. There is a lot going on, and it's a little daunting at first. And
A lot of lore, a lot of reading.
yeah.
Too much reading in a game about murdering demons. You know what I mean?
Right. If you want to, though, that's the thing.
It's
Like,
nice.
you don't
It's nice.
have
It's
to read
nice.
all that stuff.
But that's the thing too, because the game does such a good job of developing the world around you, right? So
Yeah.
those holograms that are sitting, that are set up around the what's the name of the organization, the UAC facility, whatever it's called. Like
Sure.
the holograms that are like requesting, like we are requesting volunteers for experimentation or testing,
Yeah.
and it's
Yep.
like, ooh, that is questionable because this
Uh-huh.
is supposed to be like the I think you're on Mars, right? Yeah, you're like this is a
Yes.
Mars station to bring back energy for Earth. You know what I mean? It's like that's what are you guys experimenting with? You know what I mean? And then like they're like, oh, this base is our forward future. Remember that everything we do here is for the betterment of mankind. Creepy. It's creepy when they hear. I was like, oh, it feels a little.
Yep.
Feels a little, extra totalitarian. We're trying to brainwash people into believing what we're doing is for the cause.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, it does so much good stuff in terms of like world building through like again like the hologram dialogue, the dialogue you have between you and Samuel and what's Vega? Is that the robot name?
Yes.
Yeah, the AI's name, Vega, and then hearing weird spider lady. What's her name again? I'm so bad with names.
I am too.
But hearing
didn't
them
pay
talk,
much attention.
there's so much going on. You know what I mean? And it does a good job of like really kind of dragging you into the story that way instead of forcing you to read everything. Again, it's nice that it's there, but the game does a good job already of trying to build this world around you, and but like the lore bits are there. You see them with all the weapons. You know what I mean? There's some kind of like funny lines about the weapons too.
Yeah.
Kind of the person who developed the weapon like realizes the absurdity of what they're building. And there's stuff like that that's really, really good and it's really well done. And again, just I feel like there's too. But to me, like navigating the menu, all the reading, it's like there's so much going on. It's so much
Yeah,
going on.
you really need to just save that to the end, or when you're not playing the game and you can just read it on the wiki or something.
Yeah,
That's kind of the time and place for that, I feel like. And you're right. I mean, they want to build the world because this is a reboot, and they wanted to, I guess, immerse you as if being on Mars and then in hell wasn't immersive enough.
yeah.
So they wanted to immerse you even further. I do have a couple of questions if you're done with your little with your little the side sort of things that you were mentioning here.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah, I can do a couple of these. Just read a couple of these off near the end of the thing. Just again, like just
That's fine.
these are like hit picks. These are things that I like, nice little bits that I enjoyed, and I just want to acknowledge them.
Oh, okay.
We can do these towards the end of the episode. That's fine.
Got you. What difficulty did you play on?
I started off on normal
Okay.
because again, I was like, I'm just gonna take me a minute to just get used to the controls because again, I'm a PC boy and I was playing this on
Right.
console. I'm a baby. It took me a minute to get my legs back under me again. And then once I got comfortable, I bumped it up, which I appreciate. You can
Okay.
actually bump it up in menu. I always appreciate when games let you do that.
hmm And what you'll see quite a bit, and I'm sorry to cut you off,
for it.
but I'm happy to hear that you played it on ultra violence, which is the harder difficulty. because for a lot of people, especially even like the reviewers, you give game journos shit for playing it on baby mode. A lot of game journos played it on ultra violence, and that's basically like the perfect difficulty option for both Doom games, for both Doom
Mm.
2016 and Doom Eternal. That's basically the correct way to play this game. So I'm happy to hear that you did bump it up to ultra violent. You got to experience the game. I think the way that it deserved to be played. Quite frankly, I think it deserves to be on ultra violence. I think it's the perfect difficulty. It does the best job of balancing the methodical movement, the resource management, the actual challenge while you're in the arenas and while you're playing the game. So I'm happy to hear that.
Yeah,
Um,
initially I thought it was just like a damage ramp. That's
right?
why,
No.
because it is a damage ramp, like that's there in the
Oh yeah.
difficulty. But it is also like, yeah, we're gonna cut back a little bit on your resources, force you to like actually use your glory kills for your health. You have to do
Yep.
it. You have to use your chainsaw every once in a while. Like enemies aren't just gonna drop ammo
Yep.
randomly, and you have to
And
chainsaw to get your ammo back. Like
mhm,
it forces you to actually use everything at your
yep.
disposal.
And not only are there more enemies, there are different enemies. So in a situation where you'd get regular demons or like the fireball demons,
The imps, yeah, those
maybe
guys.
they'll be replaced with name demons, right?
Yeah, yeah. So I again like because I wasn't flipping back and forth between like arenas.
Right, right,
I'm gonna call them arenas because I think that's the best way for me to explain to like what it really feels like when I'm playing this game.
right. Or
It feel
encounters or
yeah,
whatever. Yeah,
it feels like an arena shooter. Like that's just basically what it plays like. This plays a little bit
it
like
does.
if you're a an old school PC or shooter player, kind of like Quake, kind of like Unreal Tournament.
Definitely.
It plays very much so in those veins of video games, especially on PC, which I got to taste a little bit of right before
Ooh,
we
okay.
wrapped up here.
Yeah,
Um,
let's talk about that because that was my third question I was going to
oh,
ask you because
perfect.
I figured we'd get into it.
I'm the best.
But so it's funny, like a couple days after we started the episode, the game went on sale on Steam. And
Summer
I was like,
sale,
you gotta be
baby.
kidding me.
Summer sale.
Yeah, summer sale kicked up, and I'm like, you gotta be shitting me. So I bought it. I bought Doom because I've wanted to replay it, and I was gonna start replaying it on Xbox. And I was like, let me wait a little bit. Let me just wait and see. And sure enough, a couple days after I was going to start replaying this on Xbox One, it pops up on PC. I've already played through the first couple of levels, and holy crap, I thought this game was good on Xbox, like with a
Yeah,
controller.
very different experience, and
Oh,
but in like the best way possible.
oh yeah, like play this game on PC. If you can't play it on, I don't know if you can play it on PS5. I'm pretty sure you can play it on Series X.
Yeah, I would assume that's the case, probably.
Yeah, but if you can't play it on one of the next gen consoles and have it be upscaled, play this game on PC. Oh my god, it's beautiful.
Yeah, like I mentioned earlier that the game looks really good even on console. Again, a little bit of a dig at consoles. Sorry, console gamers. I'm a PC guy. Sorry, but
Right.
the game looks good on console. It does. And then when I popped it on PC, I was like, whoa. Even
Yeah.
on high, not even on epic or ultra, whatever they call it,
Yeah.
whatever metal extreme name they call ultra graphics, basically. Like, Killmonger graphics. Sure, whatever. Whatever that is. It looks insane. It looks really, really
It
good.
does.
It looks really pretty. And like, I like it took a moment for my PC to like, I had like a weird start in the beginning. And then once I like tabbed out, tabbed back in, it started running perfectly, and the game looks like again like it looks good on console, but it looks so much better on PC. Or
Oh yeah.
like, and my PC is not even like a beast rig. Like my PC is like a decent rig, and there's like there's a genuine noticeable jump in terms of like visual clarity and quality and textures. It just makes the game look prettier. And it's a lot of people say like, oh, graphics aren't everything. Yeah, but in a game like this where the game does, especially on PC, when you run around, you're jumping around, you flick your mouse around, things are moving like crazy. Turn off motion blur.
Yes. Yes.
Please.
Yes.
This game
Yes.
looks pretty. Don't blur the game. Especially if
Yes.
you're on PC. I don't remember if there's an option for that on console. I think there might have been. But either way, turn off motion blur. I understand if you're
Right.
playing something more cinematic, yeah, leave motion blur on. But in a game that plays as fast as this, please turn off motion blur. Actually appreciate the quality of all of the models in this game, especially even when you're flicking your mouse around at 100 miles an hour, just ripping their faces off, and the zoom ins and zoom outs of you, like focusing on the one thing you're killing. This game looks gorgeous. Again, 2016, right? And
Yep.
I understand, like there hasn't been a crazy jump in terms of like graphical fidelity on PC in the last couple of years. Like we're kind of making like incremental upgrades, but this game looks so good. It's gorgeous as demonic hellspawn can look. It's like the monsters look gruesome.
Hell yeah.
On PC, yeah, like it's, again, I'm a PC boy. Like as soon as I got the pistol, as soon as they gave me the shotgun, and I went to my first arena, I just tapped the jump button. I'm just never on the ground. Basically, I'm just always jumping. I'm always bunny hopping, and like I turn a corner, flick my mouse, hit something in the dome, and keep moving. I think this is exactly where that arena shooter kind of like feeling that I got really took place on PC. It's a limitation of the controller, right? That's all it is. But even then, it still plays really well on controller. But
Yes, I agree.
But on PC, it plays faster. That's basically, and I think it plays more comfortable that way, especially when you're playing the higher difficulties. And I'm assuming if you get to the even higher difficulties above ultra violence, it was called, right?
Yeah, so ultra violence is hard. Nightmare is very hard, and then you have I want to call it Ultra Nightmare or something like that, which is the
delete the save state if you die situation.
correct,
Right? Yeah,
which is the Ultra Violence Plus. Hold on, no, that's something else. Yeah, so basically you have the one shot, one life. If you die, you start over again.
Yeah.
Ultra Nightmare.
Yeah, it just makes it more. It just feels more satisfying to play on a mouse and keyboard, especially a game that kind of wants to play fast. But yeah, like I got like 2 levels in, and it was like, I was looking at my notes, and I'm like, man, my notes do not match the short note that I wrote about it on in my notepad here versus playing it on console. It's like the game is almost a completely different game once you play it on a computer.
Oh yeah. Yeah, and the first thing I did was turn that shit up to ultra, and let me tell you, it is awesome.
Yeah,
it looks great,
and also it's not hyper demanding. Like,
no,
again,
it's really not.
Like I have a decent rig. It's not a monster rig. For the PC people here, I have a 1080 Ti. It's a really good GPU, but it's not a 2080. It's not a 30 series card. You know what I mean? You have a RX 590, which is equivalent to a NVIDIA 1660, I believe. That's the equivalent of it. And again, that's a mid-tier card, and it still looks really, really good. It's gorgeous. This game is so efficient. This game is so well optimized. It's like it's meant to be pretty, and it really just does a good job of scaling up everything in terms of like quality in general.
For sure. So last question that I have: how much secret hunting did you do? Did you kind of comb through the levels to find the hidden stuff, to find the upgrades, or were you just kind of go, hunt, kill kind of thing?
I actually have a note about this. 1 second, let me scroll through here. Let's see here. Okay. Here. I saw that the note before it is some of the trials are legitimately difficult. So each stage has like a trial before you hit the next airlock, essentially, right?
Yep.
And some of them are like, do 5 glory kills on this enemy, do it this way, or do 5 different glory kills on the same enemy, kind of thing. So you have to aim at different body parts, and it does a different execution essentially. And then the note after that is some of the trials require you to scour the map for secrets. And I did do a good chunk of them. I think I only missed like 2 of the upgrade bots. And I think I didn't realize the little Doom, like little pop figurine things until like 4 stages in. Now that was late. I'm like, oh shoot, I probably missed 1 or 2 then before I even got here. So once I realized that they were a thing, I started looking for more stuff. I found every Praetorian, I think they call them, the guards, like the little.
Yes.
Yeah, I think at least 1 every level. I'm pretty sure every level has at least 1, sometimes 2, sometimes 3. But I found at least 1 every level. So that's kind of like what I wrote for now, because I'm sure I missed 1, or I'm sure I missed a couple along the way. And the other secrets was I found the Doom, the classic Doom room, which is kind of funny.
Oh yes.
A nice little thing, nice little Easter egg for you. Like everything just looks like the old school, like Doom 1, 2, 3 pixel art. Pretty funny little bit. But yeah, I did a good chunk of the level challenges and the secret hunting along the way, and especially once you find the map, which again every level has a map terminal essentially. Once you find that, I'm like, if I'm nearby it, I might as well go to it. I might as well go to this little secret thing. Why not? So I got most of them. I want to say maybe most, yeah, over 50%. I definitely did over like 50% of the secret hunting. I missed stuff along the way, but I think like in a subsequent playthrough, maybe I'll play it on like lower difficulty so I can explore all the maps. And especially once I got the double jump, like that's when I was started
Yes.
like really like, okay, can I? Again, I play Apex. I'm abusing movement mechanics here. I'm like, can I
Hmm.
slide jump and then double jump onto this sledge? Maybe. If the game doesn't want me to do it, I'm going to do it anyway. And this is
Okay.
see what's here.
Fair listener, please understand. I'm probably gonna tell Lakan to play Doom Eternal in like the next 8 weeks or so.
At some point, I'm going to probably end up playing it.
Yeah,
Yes.
you because if you're glowing about the movement options in this game, if you're glowing about the violence in this game, like Doom Eternal takes it from 12 to 20. Like it is just absolutely ridiculous how much better Doom Eternal is, and that's not a knock on Doom 2016 because this game is incredible.
Yeah, I'm looking. I'm like, it made me curious. Like again, I bought both pre-owned on PS4, and I think it's again like just for my own sanity and my own experience. I probably will play it on PS4 a little bit, and then probably do the rest of the game on PC, just for my personal comfort.
Right.
But yeah, like again, this game plays really tight. Again, there's a couple minor issues. But for the most part, in terms of like the gameplay loop, super tight. It's exactly like that flow state that I really enjoy when I get comfortable with the game. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
And it's like I could like just play and listen to the music of this game and kind of have fun with it. Or this could be one of those games where like, oh, maybe I learn like I probably won't, but I can consider it almost a game that I could like speed run. You know what I mean? It's like, oh, I've figured everything out. Now I just go around and find the most efficient way to clear an arena and move forward. Like
Right.
it's one of these games where it's like you can kind of learn the ins and outs of it, kind of deal, which I really liked.
Yeah, I think the best part about this is it doesn't take you 10 hours to get to that flow state, right? Like that perfect form, so to speak.
Yeah,
Like when Cell absorbs Android 18 and he becomes perfect and he has all of his abilities and he's perfectly like ready to go, and you get to that point in games quite a bit, especially towards the end. This game makes you feel like that the second you pick up the shotgun for the first time, and throughout the entire game you feel basically complete. So like I said before, this has completely ruined other games for me. But these games are incredible, and I'm happy you enjoyed it. I'm happy you kind of felt the same way about it as me. And now you can kind of better understand me and where I'm coming from with games lately.
yeah,
And it's all this game's fault. And I say that with like a tongue in cheekly, because like obviously this game is awesome
yeah.
and
Same rules.
incredibly. I can't talk about this game enough. I love this game so much, and I'm happy I got to share it with you.
Yeah. In terms of like other shooter games, right? The one thing I that threw me off was I wasn't able to ADS right off the bat. Right? Some guns do have it, some guns don't. And that's when I realized all the guns have like a mod or a secondary fire mode, which kind
Yes,
of like adds to the variety of the weapons, right? It allows certain weapons to feel more useful than initially they lead on to be, right?
yes, absolutely.
Like perfect example for me was like the plasma rifle. I was like, this
Yes,
thing, it sounds dainty because it's like it has like the
right,
sci-fi Halo style sound for like plasma rifle, right? And then it has that heat vent kind of mechanic, which was super cool. And it basically was just like an AOE mini grenade. You know what I mean?
correct.
It felt really good to use, and you kind of saw it like chop up enemies on the way out. So it again, traditional shooter guy. Like I thought secondary or left trigger would let me ADS my guns. The game obviously has other options for the weapons. That's why they don't do it.
Correct.
I think they did a really good, smart way of doing a lot of the weapons in this game. So like on controller, you hold right bumper or R1, right, to bring up like the weapons wheel and stuff like that.
Correct.
And what I did like is that it slows the game down while that's happening.
Right. Slows it down. Doesn't pause. Slows it down.
Yeah, you still have to be aware of what's happening around you. You don't get you don't really you get a breather, but not like a cool. I can go, I can go take a leak real quick while I change my weapons. No, you like.
Right. No.
I mean, you can pause the game. You can actually just pause the game if you need to actually take care of something. but but it's like the game doesn't stop, which again kind of like leads back into that idea of like this game is kinetic. Like the kinetic energy I feel from this game is I don't think that's even a thing. Whatever, but like the kinetic like style of this game, right? Again, nothing stops moving. Everything is the game almost incentivizes you to run around like a cracked out rabbit, basically.
Yes.
With a shotgun. and murder everything around you.
Oh yeah.
Anything that moves, your job is to destroy it. And it's this is kind of like you know that meme of like the two muscly arms, like like grasping arms together. You know what I mean? It's like
yeah, the scene from Predator.
Yeah, the Predator scene, exactly. Yeah, like that. Like that's basically what this game was, but it's just. But instead of it being like two weird niche things that maybe one group likes and one other group is like something else that's weird, and then you find a common ground. Both arms are murder, and in the middle, when their hands are clasped, is more murder. That's all it is.
Yeah.
Like this game is so focused and so well, like so fine tuned to just be like, you have one objective. You are basically like Hellspawn John Wick. This is your job, and just do it. It's so good. It's such a tight experience in terms of like its shooting game on console and PC, on both. It does a really, really good job for it.
Yeah, I cannot wait to hang up, and I'm going to play this game for a few hours right after we hang up, and I'm going to love it just as much as I did the first time.
Oh, absolutely.
And that's awesome. So I'm happy you enjoyed it.
Yeah.
Really.
Oh, another thing that I did realize as well here. I've got a couple small. I've got a couple. These are just my notes at this point. I'm just gonna rattle off the other things that I like appreciated or I noticed. Minor. Again, these are minor. There's not like a game breaking issue like the first two things that I complained about, like the falling through the map and unfortunately the boss is falling flat. The animations during the loading screens, like how like they're kind of like, not jump scary, but they're just like it's like a psycho freak out moment.
Oh yeah.
They got a little old because it's like on PS4 or consoles it takes a minute to load, so it's just like it kind of loops the first 5 seconds of it again. It's like that weird distorted scream and like the demons kind of screaming at you in the screen. It got a little old. I get it. The game is action and edgy and murder. I get it. You can tone it back a little bit. I appreciate the different animations. I didn't realize it until one of the missions showed up, but like the animations for glory kills are dependent on which part of the body or how you approach the enemy.
Not even that. So yes, you are correct that how you approach the enemy changes the glory kill, but also what phase of their recovery also affects the glory kill too.
Oh, really?
So if they're blinking, if they're blinking orange and you approach from the front, it's one way. If they're blue and you approach from the front, you get a different animation.
Okay. Yeah, because it like like obviously if you're in a pinch and you're kind of like spamming melee just to get back, just I need health, and like luckily I hit everything with a shotgun or a grenade. They're low. I can just spam glory kill and not be damaged during the animation kind of deal. And it looks like I basically pick somebody's head up and just punch it in the face and their head just explodes, which is funny. But then like one of the missions was like get like 3 sweep the leg kills on taken soldiers or whatever they called them. I forgot the ones with guns, not the imps. And like your character literally like sweeps them. They kind of float in the air for a second, and then you kind of like chop down on their head basically, and they just explode. And it's so like action movie. You know what I mean? Like did you watch? This is gonna be a dumb reference. Did you watch Paul Blart Mall Cop?
Hell yes, yes, I know exactly what you're talking about.
Him in the hockey the
Yeah, when
goalie
he's in
hats.
champs.
Yeah, he sweeps the guy and like with the goalie hockey stick and like comes down on him with it afterwards, and the guy is like clearly in the air for what feels like 2 whole seconds, but like
Yep.
he's moving in regular speed and knocks him back to the ground. It felt like that. Like there's the game is so over the top that like it almost doesn't feel out of place. It's like the whole point of the game is like, oh yeah, no, the whole point is you are the trauma, as you mentioned before. Like I am literally the harbinger of death. Everyone else here is basically my plaything. And like the you do a couple kills on the big what's the big like black demons with like the exposed skull on the top of their heads, like the massive guys. It looks like the Hell Knights, but they're not.
Yeah,
I
yeah, yeah,
forgot the
yeah.
name of
Hang on.
them, but there was a mission that's like do 2 like death from above kills from them. So it's like, and like I appreciate that the arena is designed for it. There's like, oh, here's 2 platforms on the side. They're a little higher than usual. You might want to get up there and try to like get them blinking and then jump down.
Yeah,
Like the gate, like the level clearly has like missions in specific arenas that you're supposed to do within that entire level, basically, which I really appreciated that kind of stuff. Like the game
yeah.
incentivizes you to do the missions, basically.
Because
Uh,
that's like everything else in the game, upgrade resources are few and far between. So you might as well do everything it tells you to do, so you can get some upgrades.
Speaking of upgrades, like I guess kind of related, the power ups like haste,
Yes,
invincibility, berserk mode, quad
Berserk is
damage.
the best. Berserk
Yo,
is my favorite
berserk
thing ever.
literally feels like it's like it literally feels like a Hulk smash moment, or like if any of y'all played Borderlands, Brick's ultimate, the big tank looking guy, where he
Right.
basically drops the guns and start punching his way through it. Basically, just like no more guns, come at me, and like you're just ripping everything in half. Basically, it literally looks like, it feels like it's just a power trip. I love I love the power ups, and I appreciate that haste also not just speeding up your movement and your airspeed and stuff like that. I would switch to the sawed off shotgun during haste because it also increases your reload speed.
Yes.
So like it's a nice little touch, that kind of gets forgotten by some games. But that's like a nice thing because haste just means everything speeds up, not just your movement, not just you're flying, you're zooming around the map. No, like everything, every weapon kind of becomes a little bit faster, which I really really appreciated. Let's see here, a couple other things here. Oh, some of the trophies or achievements if you're on Xbox, I really appreciated. Like there's kind of like little nods to like to previous games and stuff like that. Like when you finally get the BFG, the moment you finally get the
Yes.
BFG, it's
Yes.
called an old friend, and that's literally what it felt like. It was like, oh, I remember you. I remember exactly how I felt the first time I saw the BFG, in the Doom series.
Oh yeah.
And it's like, yeah, this feels like home. You know what I mean?
Yep.
Just nice little things, like nice little touches like that I really really appreciated.
Because you weren't powerful enough.
Yeah,
Now
exactly.
you have a gun that clears the entire room.
An entire
for you.
room by itself, exactly. Which also, funny enough, there's a mission in that room where it says kill 20 enemies in the span of 5 seconds. Oh, look at that! I found the BFG. Now I know exactly what I'm supposed to do with this thing. Let everything climb together, kind of get into a line, and wipe the room. And it's like,
and then blow it up.
the missions, they're again, like some of them are hard, some of them are kind of easy. But I appreciate that some of the missions, they kind of give you like a freebie every level. You know what I mean? Here's a free weapons upgrade, basically, like just by doing one of the missions.
Here's the new mechanic. Use it and get something for free.
Go have fun. Just enjoy yourself.
This is the levity in this game.
Yeah, like
just have fun blowing shit up.
Yeah, it's really well designed. I like these little nods, and it's the way that the game is so focused on just letting you kind of just enjoy this. Like, I have an issue in games that feel like a power trip. Does that make sense?
It's a 10-hour power trip.
Yeah, so like it's weird, right? Like, my issue, like, so like let me bring it back a little bit, reel it back a little bit here. So a lot of games that I play, multiplayer shooters, you're playing against somebody else, right? Somebody else who can be better than you, worse than you, whatever it may be, right? And then there's the garbage human beings who cheat. right? And that's basically their power trip because they feel powerful because they're cheating and they can dome you and beam you from way further than you can do to them, right? That's their
Hmm.
power trip. With and I don't like that. Like just that idea of beating up on somebody who's way worse than you or whatever, right? I don't like the idea of like the bastardized power trip against somebody else, right? It's kind of
Right.
like how I mentioned in Slay the Spire, right? And when you play a busted deck against somebody else in Yu-Gi-Oh or Magic, it feels there's a little bit of you that feels a little bit bad for doing it, but Slay the Spire incentivizes you to beat to break the game. This game is telling you, no, this is the game. The power chip is the game. Have
Yes.
fun. And it's exactly that. It's just a fun power chip. I don't feel bad for these demons. Fuck them. Whatever. Like,
Uh-huh.
I'm like ripping their faces off and then it's like stomping into the ground. No, the whole point of this game is that you just enjoy like everything is given to you. Or at least like slowly fed out to you, right? But you technically have all the tools at your disposal, shotgun in your hands,
Yes.
to just wreak havoc. And it's just like, no, enjoy the ride. Basically, it is the most unga bunga brain off game that I've played that that in like in the best way possible. You know what I mean? Like,
Right.
no, I'm just here to have a good time. I'm just here to cause some mayhem,
Hmm.
and
Don't
it's
turn your
so
brain
good.
off too hard though, because
Yeah,
you still have to
there's still
plan your
yeah,
attack.
there's still mechanics. Yeah, of course, but there is that like it's like that's the closest thing I can get to in
No,
terms
but
of
you're
like
right. You tap into. I don't think turning your brain off is the phrase. Return to monkey is
yeah,
the
yeah,
the phrase.
the phrase,
You
yeah,
you go back to your most primal state, and
just
you
destroy
just destroy.
everything,
Correct.
everything that
Hell
anything that
yes.
moves and breathes that's not you or your allies is just gonna die at your hands, and that's amazing. And it's just such an enjoyable power trip.
I think I have to figure out how to work "Return to Monkey" into the title of this episode
You will put it. You'll find it somewhere in like the in the description of this episode, basically.
for sure.
Little metal monkey just bashing away. This game was a fun ride. It really, really was. And also, even on like the harder difficulty, again, as you mentioned, it's kind of like the way the game was meant to be played. I got through it in about 10 and a half hours ish.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's not
Yeah.
super long, and that's kind of like what you kind of want in a game like this, right?
Yeah.
It's a nice focused experience, and if you want to get more out of the game, you can. You can do all the secret hunting and multiple playthroughs and try the other weapons more. You know what I mean? Like,
Right. You can play it on Ultra Nightmare or whatever. There are 100 things to do. Oh, and then by the way, you can play the sequel.
yeah, exactly. And you have even more refined murder play, basically,
Yeah.
which
Uh-huh.
is great.
And Doom Eternal has not one but two DLC packs called the Ancient Ones, the old ones or something like that.
Oh, sick. Okay, so just even more murder, even better.
The Ancient Gods. Yes.
Asian gods. Okay, okay.
So yeah, and that looks really sweet. So I haven't actually played this yet. I really want to, and I probably should have just bought the DLC when I bought the game. And maybe I might just do that right now. but
Yeah, why not? Yeah, like
uh,
again, if just more of this game, because again, the game is relatively short, and if you want to play more, there is more in this game or more in the continuation of this game.
oh yeah, there's plenty
Basically,
more.
according to again, I haven't I'm kicking myself a little bit. Like when I was playing this, I was like, why did I not play this sooner? You know what I mean? Like again, this came out 6 years ago, and I for some reason I knew it came out. There was so much hype around it when it came out, but for some reason I never got on the train for it. But even though I heard nothing but good things about it, for some reason it just slipped under my radar. And then now I'm playing it, and I'm like, yeah, I understand why for you and like your experience with video games, this has the possibility to ruin other shooters for you or other video games for you. I understand that very much so, especially if this caters to your type of game.
Hell yeah, this is totally my game. Ultra violent, ultra power, kill everything, and man, like I'm so happy. I can't wait to go back and play this again.
Yeah.
Like right now.
I have one question for you, and
Yeah.
it actually directly relates to again how this game has possibly ruined, or if not ruined, at least like skewed your views on other shooter games, especially like this.
Right.
We play Destiny 2, right?
Yep.
And you are mostly a PVE guy,
Yes.
and does so does the kind of like breaking the game part of Destiny 2. Like, when you find a build that is just insane against PvE, like is that spawned from this game where you're basically just trying to become this most overpowered guardian you could possibly can be?
Oh yeah. Yeah, no, when I play this game solo, like obviously there's the RPG aspect to the game where when you're playing with a fire team, you do need to fit a role, right? And I do that quite a bit. When I play solo, if I'm doing like lost sectors or just other sort of solo content, no, I play that game like this. I play this game hyper aggressive with a shotgun, with an auto rifle, with a rocket launcher, and I just blow up everything.
You're on
And
the power trip basically at that point.
yeah,
That's how you
no,
play the
I
game.
play basically every shooter I can like this. I play it all like Doom, where
Did you play them like this, like that before Doom, or was Doom an influence to change your playstyle a little bit?
so I don't
Because we
know
played
how
Destiny
much.
we played Destiny 1 before Doom 2016 obviously came out.
Right, a little bit, right, but no, I think it was kind of a current thing because I really played hyper aggressive after Doom Eternal came out. So that was 2020.
Oh, okay.
And so yeah, no, Doom 1 didn't have as much of an impact on me in other shooting games. Doom Eternal definitely did though.
It like so,
And
it was like it maybe there was like an influence, and then once Eternal came out, it like cemented your play style when you play
yeah,
solo PVE games,
yeah.
basically. Okay,
hmm
word.
And it also reinforced my sort of my belief on games and how I feel. I don't know what I feel like are good tight games. Um, was basically reinforced by Eternal versus 2016 because 2016 already got me there, and 2016 was the game where I was like, oh wow, okay, this is what I've been looking for. And then Eternal, after playing other games in the 4 years between the releases, Eternal came out, and I was like, yeah, okay, this is yeah,
Exactly
this is
what you
what I
want.
want in
It's
life.
exactly what you wanted, basically, in terms
Uh
of
huh.
like a shooter. Okay, gotcha.
Yep.
Yeah, I was curious about it because like I remember you alluded to it. I think like in one of our off recording like conversations about like how this game shaped your. I mean, you said it in the first half of the episode as well. This kind of ruined games for you a little bit to an extent.
Oh yeah.
But like we talked about it a little bit more in terms of it, and I never asked this specific question, and then I kind of put the pieces together as I was finishing up this game. I was like, oh yeah, so maybe I can understand why this might be a thing, but I just wanted to kind of confirm it for myself that this is
Oh yeah.
exactly why it happened, basically.
Oh yeah. This is why. It's this game's fault. Like I said before, it's this game's fault that I am the way I am with games, and I don't like. I have no time for the fluff anymore because of how sharp and how methodically paced and how perfectly paced I feel like these games are. And
Okay.
they skip a lot of the nonsense that so many games try to do, especially and I think older games are much more guilty of that than newer games because you had to stretch your money farther with older games, right?
Yeah, like
So
especially back then, like like kids would get one game a year,
correct.
so you have to like it has to just be pure content, basically,
hmm
right?
and like I said, this game rides that fine line between challenge and bullshit really, really well that a lot of other games don't. And so when I hold them to this standard, obviously it doesn't always work out for the other games because it's difficult to ride this line, right? It's
hmm
hard to make a game challenging that's not bullshit hard.
Yeah, yeah.
And I think this does it really well. And I think the very best of games are able to walk that fine line.
Yeah, like I can absolutely see why, and again, like even more so now once I've actually finished the game, I was like, okay, I can absolutely see how this can influence my opinions of other games. For me, it didn't. If anything, this kind of just scratched that itch. You know what I mean? of like just something. This scratch the itch of like the power trip. You know what I mean?
Right.
It's kind of like how in Destiny 2 recently. I mean, I guess even a little not as recent now, but when Void 3.0 came out, and we had this like, oh no, this is broken kind of feeling,
Yep.
and we were just like, I'm gonna ruin like a couple experiences for myself playing this way, right? Because especially when it first came out, it was overpowered. So it's like it kind of scratched that itch of like just enjoying. And again, this game incentivizes it, and that's the point of this game. This game is literally meant to be. This is your power trip. Have fun. So I really I can understand how it shaped gaming opinions. For me, it's more just like it filled like a slot that I hadn't experienced in a little while, especially because I play PvP shooters where I'll slap some 12-year-old Timmy on on a controller, and then like Asu comes out and wrecks my shit from halfway across the map. I'm like,
Yep.
oh, okay. I'm his demon in Doom, basically. I was like, I'm his tiny like, oh, you're an insect. Okay, got it. So this is like there is a skill aspect of the game, but it's more just like we're giving you everything, and just go about your day and just play through. Which great. I love this experience. Thank you for recommending this game for me. Again, force me to actually play this game, because I'm kicking myself for the fact that I never actually played it when it came out. And it gave me a reason to actually sit down and actually play this game and really kind of sit down and, enjoy it. Just kind of slow down everything else and just really just enjoy this.
For sure.
Yeah, good game. Listener, if you haven't played it yet, like I was being stupid and not being stupid, maybe just you're busy, or, your other flavor of games are currently in your rotation, slot this in somewhere. I highly recommend it. I highly recommend it.
Yep.
Cool. Anything else for today then, Jeff?
That's all I got. One last thing. Motion blur sucks. Turn it off.
Oh yeah, again we said it earlier. Just turn it off. Turn it off in a game like this, please.
Turn it off in every game. Motion blur. Hot take. Motion blur sucks. Turn it off.
I'm gonna go a little less of hot. I'm gonna go warm take. Cinematic games, I appreciate motion blur, but like in games that play fast like this, turn it off. That's my opinion. But yeah.
Turn it off.
Cool. Okay. One little side note here. For the upcoming episodes, we mentioned it before in our previous episode that we've got a couple trips, personal trips, with our for friends, weddings, vacations coming up. So we might be trying a couple different ideas out for episodes upcoming from here. They're still going to be in relatively the same format, but we're going to try to do little like shorter bites or like shorter games, or maybe do our first non-video game topic. We're going to try it. We're going to see what happens in terms of our recording schedule, because we want to make sure we have stuff lined up for you guys and we don't fall behind on our own schedule as well. So if you guys would listen to that and, keep an eye out for that, we'd really appreciate it. And please give us a listen to. Again, we dip our toes into a lot of different types of media. We play a lot of video games. We watch a lot of movies. We read books. We read comics and manga. We watch a lot of different kind of content on shows and stuff like that. So when we make these episodes out, again, just heads up, we will be trying a couple of other topics out in the near future. So please look forward to that. And I guess so that's it for this one. Thank you for listening, listeners, and we will see you in the next episode.
Turn off motion blur.
Bye-bye. I'm ready whenever you are. So
Let me just take one more drink.
Yeah, let me sip my water. A little bit of water.